The Litzmannstadt ghetto, established in Łódź in April 1940, was one of the largest ghettos in Nazi-occupied Europe. Initially intended as a temporary measure, it quickly became a permanent fixture in the lives of over 160,000 Jews and thousands of Roma and Sinti. The ghetto was located in the poorest parts of the city, specifically in Łódź and the Old Town, where the living conditions were dire from the outset. The creation of the ghetto was marked by a series of oppressive regulations. On April 30th, 1940, the ghetto was officially sealed off from the rest of Łódź, with barbed wire and guards enforcing strict boundaries. Inside, families were crammed into small rooms, often with multiple people sharing a single space. The lack of proper sanitation and adequate food supplies led to widespread suffering and illness. Despite these harsh conditions, the ghetto became a hub of industrial activity. The Nazi regime exploited the labor of those confined within its walls, turning the ghetto into a significant center for manufacturing goods needed for the war effort. Factories operated day and night, producing clothing, shoes, and other essential items. This forced labor was brutal, with long hours and little compensation. Yet, the productivity of the ghetto allowed it to persist longer than many other ghettos across occupied Europe. Among the notable figures in the ghetto was Chaim Rumkowski, appointed as the head of the Jewish Council. He played a controversial role in managing life within the ghetto, often making difficult decisions under pressure from German authorities. Rumkowski believed that cooperation with the Nazis could help save lives, leading to complex dynamics within the community. The Litzmannstadt ghetto also became a melting pot of cultures and traditions. Despite their circumstances, residents organized cultural events, educational activities, and religious services to maintain a sense of community and identity. Schools were established to provide education for children, even as resources dwindled. Life in the ghetto was marked by extreme hardship. Residents endured overcrowding, inadequate sanitation, and severe food shortages. The German authorities imposed strict regulations and forced labor on the inhabitants, who were compelled to work in factories producing goods for the Nazi war effort. Chaim Rumkowski, appointed head of the Jewish Council, believed that productivity could secure their survival and made controversial decisions regarding labor assignments. As early as January 1942, deportations to the nearby Chełmno extermination camp began. These transports targeted those deemed unfit for work, including children and the elderly. The ghetto's inhabitants were often rounded up under the guise of resettlement, only to face death upon arrival at Chełmno. The method of extermination involved mobile gas vans that suffocated victims with carbon monoxide. Throughout 1942 and 1943, while deportations continued sporadically, life in the ghetto became increasingly desperate. The German administration provided insufficient food rations, leading to widespread starvation and disease. By mid-1944, as the war progressed and Allied forces approached, the fate of the Litzmannstadt ghetto was sealed. In June 1944, Heinrich Himmler ordered the final liquidation of the ghetto. Over a short period, thousands of Jews were deported to Auschwitz-Birkenau. The last transport left on August 29, 1944. When Soviet troops liberated Łódź in January 1945, only a handful of survivors remained from a once thriving community. The tragic history of Litzmannstadt ghetto serves as a poignant reminder of the horrors of the Holocaust and the resilience of those who endured unimaginable suffering. Today, memorials and educational initiatives strive to honor the memory of its victims and ensure that such atrocities are never forgotten. Despite the atrocities of the Litzmannstadt ghetto, the human spirit proved indestructible. Those who survived the hell of the ghetto became symbols of strength and hope. Their stories, although marked by suffering, testify to the unyielding will to live and to be reborn. In Łódź, in the valley of the Łódź River, the Survivors Park was created, a remarkable place where the memory of the past is combined with hope for the future. It was Halina Elchevska, a survivor of the ghetto, who came up with the idea to commemorate those who survived by planting trees, symbols of life and endurance. In 2004, on the 60th anniversary of the liquidation of the ghetto, the first trees were planted. Today, there are over 670, each representing a survivor or a family associated with Łódź. The Survivors Park is not only a place of remembrance, but also a space for education, culture, and recreation. Arnold Mostowich Avenue connects the monument to the righteous among the nations with the mound of remembrance. The names of the survivors, scattered all over the world, have been engraved on marble plaques. These trees will be a trace of our presence here and of our families, said Halina Elchevska. In the Survivors Park grow oaks, hornbeams, ash trees, and many others, each of which tells a story of life, death, hope, and memory. The director of the Marek Edelman Dialogue Center, Joanna Podolska, emphasizes that this is a place of remembrance, but above all, of life.